All right, so what should we do for a second game? Should I go to the numbers? Let's see what we got here. So I played a lot of games last week that might have skewed the numbers. So I'm going to read off who our currently least used everything is, and we can see if that is going to make for a moderately interesting game. So on let's see, live stream usage. Come on, Chrome, catch up. Our least used hero currently is Night Mist. Second least used, Ra. And this is counting all variants together. Just okay. FYI, it's the hero, not counting what their variants are. If we want to go by variant, our least used variants. And again, like, I don't want to go in, you know, I don't want to get too nerdy about this, but like, these numbers are calculated based on the number of weeks that the character has been available in the game against the number of weeks that we've actually played them. So that's what I mean by least used. So like,
it's relatively figured out.
Yeah, So, let's see who else. So then we've got, Mr. Fixer, who we just played. Interestingly enough, Bunker and Visionary, who we just played. So yeah, so interesting. That's an interesting thing. Villains. Our least played against villain currently, believe it or not, is Omnitron, and we actually did just play the weekly one-shot against Omnitron last week. Second, there is is Misinformation. That's probably not super surprising. We haven't played Misinformation too many times. It looks like only once on the stream. Is that really possible?
No, we've played it more than once.
I knew tracking algorithm might not be right.
Definitely played it more than once. Because we play all the stuff from in the previews, we do them on regular and then on advanced, right?
I don't know that according to my thing here, we've only played her once, and we played her on regular, not on advanced.
I feel like that's not true, but who knows? What was I going to say? Speaking of Omnitron, so, you know, we always get complaints about the one-shots, whether they're hard or easy, and so we got complaints last week about it being too easy. But you should be grateful, because the original Omnitron game with the same setup that I had created was brutally hard.
Yeah, John actually suggested after last week's weekly one-shot, he was like, what if we did the next week's weekly one-shot as the exact same setup, but with a different random seed, so people can see just how different that could be? Because the original random seed that he had generated was
It took me three tries to beat it. And normally I beat them on the first try, even if they're the hard ones. So there you go.
All right, so at least a couple people, it looks like, not being too opposed to the idea of trying to take on Misinformation again. I'm pretty sure we have not ever played her advanced on the stream.
Sure.
So why don't we try that? And if we want to so we'll talk about environments. We can talk about the team makeup with some feedback from the chat. But in terms of
how many heroes did we have against her on that stream?
We had 5.
So that it was difficult because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so if we were to do Misinformation, environment-wise, our 2 least used tied is Tomb of Anubis and Mars Base, followed up immediately by Megalopolis and Silver Gulch, interestingly enough. We played Silver Gulch a lot when the mini-pack first came out, but I feel like that is true. I don't know that we've played it a lot recently. That's an interesting thematic game. I like the idea of Misinformation at Silver Gulch.
Yep. One thing, Miss Silver Gulch.
Miss Silver Gulch.
Misinformation is, along with Spite, is one of the villains that, you know, is a love-hate kind of thing. A lot of people have strong opinions about them. But I read an interesting sort of take on Misinformation was that she's basically Citizen Dawn in reverse in terms of her gameplay mechanic.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So, well, to elaborate on that, Citizen Dawn, you can hit her a lot, and then she flips and she becomes immune, whereas Misinformation is immune, and then you got to flip her before you can hit her a lot. Is that, I'm assuming, what you're going for?
Yeah, exactly. They have obviously periods of immunity, and they destroy your stuff, right? And, like, you know, they sort of have a lot of parallels but the flow of the game is different.
Yeah.
It kind of reversed.
I believe Misinformation was a stretch goal on, was it the Shattered Timelines Kickstarter?
Well, she was a create a villain contest winner.
Ah, okay. Yeah, and she was originally called like the assistant, I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, and on the Shattered Timelines Kickstarter, she was made available as a stretch goal.
Yeah.
Originally.
All right. So, in keeping with thematic, I think I would want to play Unity. Because it's another sort of Freedom 5 helper person. The story...
we need Ra.
Gotta have Ra. The story behind Misinformation is that she is the sort of executive assistant of the Freedom 5, and her sort of origin story is that there's some sort of dimensional rift of some sort, and she sort of is expected to be saved by the Freedom 5 and is not, or so she thinks. And so, as a result, she develops a bit of a resentment towards the Freedom 5 and decides to become villainous, as it were.
Well, why don't we play another 3-hero game, and you can be the third hero.
Okay. Let's see. How about maybe Freedom 6 Absolute Zero? That's someone I play a lot. Because as much as I like Absolute Zero, I really, really like Freedom 6 Absolute Zero.
I actually felt that in the weekly one-shot this week, it would have been easier if it was regular Absolute Zero.
Aha.
Because Freedom 6 Absolute Zero has a really hard time dealing himself damage.
Yes.
And that's what Absolute Zero needs to do. So he's easier in that, like, he can just hit things directly, but he's much more limited in what he can do when he, like, as a full setup.
Interesting. All right, well, we'll go with regular Absolute Zero then.
Well, no, you can go with whatever you want. You choose what you want. But.
Well, just having said that, like, I've been playing almost nothing but Freedom 6, so I think maybe going back to the OG Absolute Zero might not be a terrible idea.
Yeah, well, that's one reason I chose Ra Horse of Two Horizons, is because oftentimes there's nothing to shoot with Misinformation, and so I'd rather have a power that can be useful all the time.
Sure. All right. So we got Misinformation at Silver Gulch versus a team of Unity, Ra, Horse of Two Horizons. There's a third Ra coming. If everybody's looking, we're at 1.107 million right now on the Oblivion Kickstarter, and they just unlocked the $1 million stretch goal, which includes the Freedom 5 variants as well as a new Ra and Absolute Zero.
I like these two quotes together.
Oh, I skipped past it.
Well, Misinformation says, what's that? Oh, don't mind me. I'm here to help you, heroes. And Unity says, bad guys. Oh, no, it looks like it's time to make some friends. It's like,
very nice.
They're just sort of talking past each other and in a funny way.
All right, so Unity starts with the Brainstorm, Construction Pylon, Raptor Bot, and Supply Crate. Ra starts with the Fire Blast, Flesh of the Sun God, and 2 Staves of Ra. And Absolute Zero starts with the Cold Snap, Cryo Chamber, Impale, and Sub-Zero Atmosphere. Let's see what Misinformation has for us. Explosion in the Lab. It's a diversion. Oh, boy.
I would just skip unless someone has a hand that they don't want at all. But
yeah.
I think Absolute Zero's opening hand isn't great. I don't know if I would discard all his cards.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, I mean, it works out well because we don't have any. We don't have any.
Yeah, everyone can destroy all their cards. That's actually not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at this phase of the game. All right, I only have one bot in my hand, and there's nothing to deal damage to, so I think Supply Crate is the answer. Got a Robot Reclamation, and I think I'm gonna skip, actually. No reason to get that Raptor Bot out at this point, right?
If you put Raptor Bot out, it will hit one of us.
Yeah, exactly. So I draw another Brainstorm.
And so with Explosion in the Lab, it's important to note that your character card counts as a card in play. And so essentially if you have more than 2 cards in play.
Right.
I think I'm just going to... I might play Flesh of the Sun God. Because then you have it.
And then you have it. Oh, speaking of which, I almost had the opportunity not only to meet Eliza Dushku. I'm going to put that picture back up real quick. Look, everybody. I met Eliza Dushku. There's a picture of her throwing the candelabra horns. Pretty cool. But I also had the opportunity to possibly meet Henry Winkler. Unfortunately, the scheduling didn't work out that I could actually meet him as well. But I was going to have him possibly sign one of my Arrested Development DVDs.
How do you decide to discard 2 of these cards?
That is my biggest issue with Ra, is a lot of times I'll have a situation where it's like, oh, discard a card, and it's like, but they're all amazing. How do I discard?
Yeah. I think it's going to be the 2 staffs. I have a summon staff. And I draw another staff.
And then you have it. Okay, so let's see. Cold Snap. Not going to do much at this stage of the game. Cryo Chamber.
Is Sub-Zero safe against misinformation? She destroys cards at the start. She would destroy cards at the start of the villain turn, so that could be dangerous if she destroys Sub-Zero Atmosphere. But we could decide that she doesn't. We have enough cards among us that wouldn't be what gets destroyed.
Would there be a reason to use Sub-Zero Atmosphere against her in this situation?
Yeah, she has stuff that happens at the end of the villain turn. Like she'll play diversions that happen at, like Explosion to Lab, if you look at it, is a great example.
All right, let's pull that up. At the start of the villain turn, one player may discard their hand. Oh, sorry. At the end of the villain turn, each player with 3 or more cards. So, right. So, yeah. So, Sub-Zero Atmosphere would sort of... If this came out on her turn, having Sub-Zero Atmosphere out would short-circuit this because it would have already happened. I'm willing to give it a shot.
It's not the greatest, but out of what you have...
Yeah, I mean, I literally... I don't think I've ever played that card. So, I'm willing to give it a shot just as a learning experience.
Yeah.
And I will skip.
We'll just make sure not to destroy it at the start of her turn, or then those things also happen again.
Yeah, they'll happen twice, right?
Hey, it's a target.
A prickly cactus.
Yeah, so we can discard Flesh of the Sun God, destroy Flesh of the Sun God. That's fine. And we probably don't need to discard our hand.
Yeah, actually, we've played her so sparsely. Let me go ahead and pull her up just so everybody understands her mechanics real quick. So, cards... At the start of the villain turn, if there are 2 or more clue cards in play, she flips. At the end of the villain turn, X hero ongoing or equipment cards are destroyed, where X is the number of diversions in play. So we have 1 diversion in play now, which is why we just destroyed the card that we just destroyed, whose name I've already forgotten.
Flesh of the Sun God.
Flesh of the Sun God. And then her advanced rules, which we are currently playing, is increased damage dealt to hero targets by 1. When she flips, she actually has hit points, so you can start whittling her down. At the start of the villain turn, a clue card is destroyed. If this occurs, each hero target deals itself 2 sonic damage. First time a hero target deals damage to misinformation, each turn she deals that target 1 psychic damage. At the end of the villain turn, misinformation deals the 1 hero targets with the lowest HP 2 psychic damage, and her advanced rules is reduced damage dealt to misinformation by 2. I forgot about that. So that's going to be rough. But, again, as I think we were sort of hinting at but didn't say explicitly, the more heroes you have with misinformation, generally speaking, the more difficult it is to get set up against her because of all of her H plus and H minus situations.
Yeah, we have 1 clue now at least, so we just need 1 more.
Yep.
I think probably the best person to be isolated is Absolute Zero here.
Yeah, because he can hit himself.
He can hit himself, and also he sometimes doesn't want the things that Ra does.
Ah, yes.
So it's actually kind of useful.
Eggroll asks, any plan for a story mode down the line that allows players to play the Greater Than Game Sentinel story from beginning to end? Maybe. That would certainly be a really cool thing. Yes, I do want to destroy the supply crate, so I can maybe get some more bots, like another Raptor bot. Alright, parts.
Remember, those Raptor bots are just going to get...
Yeah, I'm not going to put them out now, but I've got a construction pylon, so it's good to be ready to go when that comes. So yeah, I think I'm just going to brainstorm so I can get some more cards. I could
Yeah,
hit the
or-
prickly cactus, but I don't have to.
Yeah, or put something out to sacrifice.
Oh, right, there is that.
You may as well hit it.
Again, skip.
I guess I will play Summon Staff. Oh my god, a staff! And I can play it again, even though there's no more staves. And I got it again! The top of my deck was littered with staffs and Summon Staff. These are the staves I will have for this game, I guess. So Rock could totally have just discarded his hand and be fine, because he would find all of his staves.
Yep.
I don't actually want to play one of these cards, but we need to have something to sacrifice so we don't lose Sub-Zero Atmosphere at the wrong time.
So Lock Can asks, does that mean the campaign idea thrown out by the survey is still on the bubble for possible features in the future? I don't think you're using that term correctly, because as I've heard that term, on the bubble, for in television parlance, means that it's potentially to be canceled. And it might be saved, but it's most likely to be canceled. That's what on the bubble means in television.
I've never heard it meant in any other way.
Yeah, I haven't either. So I don't know that, that is not a feature that was planned and is slated to be canceled. So no, it is not on the bubble. It is something that we would very much like to do, assuming we can find a way to do so. Okay.
Draw cards.
Yeah, skip.
No, Glacial Structure.
Oh, Glacial Structure. Ah, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, I thought for some reason I was getting Glacial Structure confused with the one that is Destroy Ongoings.
Fueled Freeze.
Fueled Freeze, thank you. Another Sub-Zero Atmosphere. And another Glacial Structure. Wonderful.
What?
I drew
for
another
your regular
Glacial.
draw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A bit.
Oh no, the cactus. That's the advanced rule. That's actually the first damage we've taken this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is the thing about misinformation that definitely makes the game feel slightly different than most other villains, which is that there really isn't, assuming she doesn't put out damage-dealing diversions and stuff, it can feel like a really boring game up front, because there's a lot of setting up, not a lot of damage flying around.
Do we want to destroy this? Probably still not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited to discard my hand for either of the people that I'm controlling, so...
There are ways to get rid of this card later.
No.
Hey, a clue.
Concealed Betrayal.
See, and here, due to Sub-Zero Atmosphere, the end of turn action does not happen.
Yeah, so this is at the end of the villain turn, destroy one hero ongoing or equipment card. So yeah, so this will occur at the beginning of her next turn, thanks to Sub-Zero Atmosphere.
Or not if we destroy Sub-Zero
Not if we
Atmosphere.
destroy Sub-Zero. Right, exactly, yes. Eggroll asks, is there any chance Adam would do special art for the game that allows you guys to become character card variants for your favorite heroes? I would be shocked if that was a thing that he would do. And only just because, and I'll just say this, because I mean, I'm sure some of you guys have also been watching the streams that Greater Than Games does. One of the initial things that when we discussed making this game with them, they are very, very protective of these characters and this story. Rightfully so. They created it sort of whole cloth from their minds. And so, like, specifically, one of the things we wanted to do, let me do a Unity thing so that we can not get held up here. Any reason for me not to brainstorm again?
I would suggest putting something out to sacrifice.
Okay, I'll be happy I can get rid of that volatile parts. Or actually, I have 2 modular workbenches, so let's do that. And then
just skip.
Skip. All right, so one of the very first things that we did was we were having the conversation with them about our launch, which, as you guys might remember, brought with it the Super Scientific Tachyon card. And one of the things that we asked about doing with, I think I might be remembering this wrong, but I think it was related, was thought, hey, can one of the computers in Super Scientific Tachyon's lab have a Handelabra Games logo on it as sort of like a branding thing? And they said, well, no, we can't do that. Because if there's a Handelabra Games logo on the computer, that means that Handelabra Games exists in the Sentinels universe. And if it exists in the Sentinels universe, then we have to explain why it exists in the Sentinels universe. And as you guys probably know now that you've seen the final expansion, they have actually planned exactly what's happening all the way back when they launched the very first game. So changing that and messing with it was not something they were excited to do. So that is probably why there will not be a situation like what was asked about putting, us or you guys on your own variant cards. That being said, nothing's impossible, but that's what my gut tells me. All right, I'm thinking I might just get out one of my null point calibration units to be set up and or sacrifice it for later.
Yeah, that or cold snap maybe. Yeah, and I mean now you could do this, right? You could heal yourself.
Yeah, might as well.
And with +1, so. Lost in the past. She's so villainous. I think Concealed Betrayal is probably the one to get rid of first.
Yep, that's fine. Absolute Zero is all right with Isolated Hero for the time being.
Okay.
So yes, they have allowed the Cauldron to be published, sort of side published. You know, part of their most important thing about publishing the Cauldron was that it was not considered to be an official part of the story, as mentioned by my long diatribe that I just said before. But yes, you will be able to buy the Cauldron pretty soon as an official sort of like sanctioned product, I guess you could say.
Anyone want to discard their hand yet? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that clue would bring them right back out anyways. Well, hey, we can safely destroy clues now with B-Bot and so on.
So reduce damage dealt to misinformation by 1. So she currently has 3 damage reduction on herself.
Oh, because of the clue. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's got a -1 from the clue and -2 from her advanced rule. So.
Well, you could play a B-Bot and we could get rid of that.
That's true. Should I do that? Do construction pylon and get out one of the raptors and the B-Bot?
As a raptor, eat the B-Bot.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea.
Or unless we have some spare damage from someone else. I don't know if we do, though.
Yeah, do we? Like, take a look. Because, Absolute Zero... Well, I mean, I could put out Thermal Shockwave.
The thing is, like, if Raptorbot won't be able to get through to misinformation anyways.
Ah, that's true. Yeah, good point.
And as soon as it bites misinformation, she hits it for 1. So just watch out for that.
I draw an Inspired Repair. So I'm going to show all targets, and I'm going to hit the B-Bot, who is now going to attempt to hit misinformation and fail. But he's going to get rid of Insider Knowledge.
All right, time for Ra to do stuff. I guess with the... I can hit her for 1 damage. But I might start... setting up a little more. Well, I think 1 damage is fine. To get hit back for just 1 damage, that's okay. That's what Absolute Zero does all the time.
We have dealt our first damage to misinformation.
You could impale her now, or whatever you
Yeah,
want.
I've been holding on to that Impale. I think
Remember, like, actually, Impale's not great because of that diversion. You'll have to destroy it or Sub-Zero Atmosphere.
Well, actually, hang on. So Impale does 2 cold damage. Like, I'd have to get out my other thing to even get through her reduction.
Yeah, Impale wouldn't even work.
Yeah.
So maybe just the null point and heal again. Or...
I mean, or I could Glacial Structure and go digging for something else useful.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Onboard module, Coolant Blast, and another Impale. So Razor asks, has Kargra been challenging to develop? Her mechanics are kind of different. She has, as a matter of fact. Yeah, honestly, it's been, and I can't speak to the engine because that's sort of Jean-Marc's world, but we're still trying to work out from a UI perspective exactly how we're gonna handle the Bloodsworn Coliseum and the title deck and other kinds of stuff like that. Mechanically, she's definitely different than any other villain we've done so far. So.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some cool stuff we're going to want to do with that. So, destroying a card. We want to discard our hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm still not loving the idea of getting rid of all of anybody's cards, so...
Skip. More damage reduction.
Okay.
So you don't have a B-bot, but you could reclaim it and then get it into play. If we want to get rid of that insert of knowledge again.
Yeah.
It's probably not a bad idea.
And I think I'll modular workbench my other modular workbench.
Yo, dog, I heard you like modular workbenches, so I modular workbenched your modular workbench and your modular workbench.
Pricey Province's asked, have the Bloodsworn crowd recordings you've received so far been helpful and or interesting? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have not listened to them. They come in, and I immediately put them in a place where Jean-Marc can get to them, and then he's the one who's going to be working with them. So I cannot speak to that, unfortunately. We have gotten a decent number of them, so that's awesome. So thank you. You guys have been prolific, and that is good. But I have not yet listened to them. I've been pretty busy. Like, just all last week and the week before, I was prepping for Comic-Con. And now that Comic-Con is over, I'm prepping for PAX East. And just getting, we've obviously got Wrath of the Cosmos working. So there's a lot of stuff sort of in the works right now. We're all very compartmentalized. The people who are working on stuff are working on their own stuff. So... I can tell you this, because I know that this is something that you guys would probably be interested in. Jennifer has been hard at work on the environments for Wrath of the Cosmos, and they are looking amazing. Doc Thorath Capital, specifically, is the one that she's really gone through. And it looks amazing. Like, I'm repeating myself, but it really looks terrific. And she blasted through it really fast too. She's really, we hired her specifically because she knew 3D, and so she's been good at it since she started. But she's been getting even better and even faster. And like, I'm really been impressed with Doc Thorath. Enclave of the Endling, she just started on this week, and that's already starting to look pretty cool. So yeah, you guys will definitely like some of the work that she's doing.
Are you planning to kill Cyrus Hayes?
Let's see.
He's going to be hitting us, so.
Yeah.
Mostly Unity, who's really low. Getting there, I guess. I guess you don't really have anything that makes sense.
I don't have much, so.
Okay. I will blaze him in a tornado. Here's some damage boosters for us.
Yeah, so Ryzer says it's a small thing, but it's pretty cool knowing that the fan base will be voicing the crowd. Yeah, I agree. And that was all Jean-Marc. That was totally his idea. It came to him because we actually sort of prefaced that idea by using Handelabra and Greater Than Games people in the realm of Discord. And that was exactly where the idea came from. He's like, hey, what if we actually asked people who play the game to be the crowd in the Bloodsworn Coliseum? How cool would that be? And as soon as he said it, I was like, why wouldn't we do that? What a great idea. Of course, going to onboard module installation. I draw a Frostbound Drain, and I haven't seen an Isothermic Transducer yet, so let's get one of those. Okay.
Can't really use it, though.
Yeah.
Not yet. Yeah, the troubling thing with that explosion in the lab is that anything you put out, you have to destroy because of Sub-Zero atmosphere. We can just get rid of Sub-Zero atmosphere. It's not really helping us too much. So, like, put out something you want to keep and we'll get rid of Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree. Let's do that. I'll get my null point out, and then I'll aim to probably do Transducer next turn, maybe. And we can start, hopefully, wailing on her.
It'll be an extra damage from her, but that's not too much. Or I guess I think it will be still. It'll be fine.
Lots of cover. Luckily, no Hayes Brothers right now. Suspicious malfunction.
Clues are coming fast and furious. We don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
And now we can't get rid of them. Well, maybe with Inspired Repair, potentially, if you draw something. But if you draw another B-Bot, it's the only chance for that. Actually, you did get a Field Freeze, didn't you?
I have a Field Freeze.
Yeah, we could use that to get rid of that.
But I see that you've recommended volatile parts.
Oh, I probably clicked on that.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm actually going to brainstorm. Because I like, if I don't have a really obvious course of action with Unity, I like to brainstorm so that I can maybe get some other options. Supply crate, okay, that'll work. And then we can hit, oh, she's not going to be able to hit her.
Advanced damage reduction is pretty tough.
Yeah. Oh, right, and this is lightning damage, and that water trough is boosting it, but it's still not enough to get through. I'll hit her anyway. Because that's just how I do. And then this way I can actually get rid of... If I get out of the Raptor Bot, that's only going to do... Yeah, it's not going to do enough.
Well, you could have it destroy the start barrel.
That's true, yeah. Question is, do I discard volatile parts or robot reclamation?
I think we want robot reclamation to get the B-Bot back.
Yeah. And I draw a platform bot.
All right. Damage boost for all.
So I appreciate that, just to answer the chat room real quick, I appreciate that you guys are asking lots of questions that have to do with the future. Unfortunately, I cannot give really specific answers to those yet because we're still working on Wrath of the Cosmos. So I cannot answer about alternate art yet. If there's something that you're interested in, the good chance is that our answer is that is something we'd like to do, and we will see. The Cauldron is its own thing, so I can't really speak to that. Question about alternate art is another thing. It's something we'd love to do, but, we're busy. We're a very small studio. We only have so much to do. But, stay tuned in the future. Join our mailing list. We'll be happy to let you know if we ever come up with other cool stuff that we're hoping to get into the game. So. Yep, isothermic.
You can't deal cold damage now because of Ra.
Oh, Ra.
You can deal lots of fire damage. Aren't you going to deal some damage? What's wrong with you, Jeremy?
You said I can't deal cold damage.
Yeah. Deal fire damage at +1.
So if I deal myself fire damage, and then that gets transduced to cold damage, And I can't deal cold damage.
The cold damage gets changed to fire damage.
Oh, I see. Okay, so...
You can press cold, but it will still be fire.
Am I hitting her for 1? Is that what we're looking for? Or am I trying to get rid of that stout barrel?
Either way. I'd hit her for 1. Oh, I guess we were going to play Field Freeze, weren't we? Oh well. We'll see what happens.
Out comes Cyrus.
And the order probably doesn't matter here. Actually, it does.
It does, yeah. We want to take out that stout barrel first.
Then he'll take 1 damage instead of 0. So yeah, that's about it.
Bye, Mr. Chomps.
Unity's almost done. Almost done.
Yeah.
Oh, and she's gonna kill herself because we're dealing herself plus 1 damage.
So just to answer Silverleaf, before the 1.72 update, the digital game could not accommodate sleeved cards. But as of the size reduction that came with 1.72, there's now plenty of room for sleeved cards.
I want Unity to discard her.
If only. I dropped the thing and now I can't find it.
Alright, I think Ra can discard his hand. We can get rid of this. Crunchy. Stop playing clues. She's played like a clue every round.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
You want to heal or you want to do something?
Draw a card.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yay, it's an awesome one.
Yeah, I'll take that. Deal 2 damage to her and then clear out the environment.
It won't actually... Actually, I guess it will. Choose for me is not the right answer. Because look at what this water drop does.
Ah.
Oh wait, I wanted to say no to that. All right, and then he's immune. Ugh. I don't think there was any way to kill him with that.
We would have either done 1 damage to him because of the trough, or would it have been 2? Maybe it would have been 2. The card game, the video game, the board game, the video game.
Thermal Shockwave would be pretty good.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be able to get through her damage reduction still, that's the problem.
Well, and everything is still fire damage, right? You still have imbued fire out?
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing. That actually works well with Thermal Shockwave because how much cold damage do you deal? 0. But
And then it boosts it by 1, so it would be a total of 2, and that's why it's not going to get through her damage. Got it. Okay.
yeah. But I mean, Impale would actually work. Now.
Horfire wouldn't be terrible. I mean, I would still deal myself quite a bit of damage, unfortunately.
Yeah, you deal yourself 4 damage and hit her for 2.
Frostbound Drain. I would deal her 2, and then myself
4
to deal her another 3. So it'd be a total of 5. Right? Am I doing that math right?
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Or I could get Cyrus out before he's gonna hit again.
Well, if you're already going down this path, that would hit her.
Okay.
Because you could do your self hit to take out Cyrus if you want. Probably makes sense.
Yeah.
He's going to hit us both. Actually, he's immune to damage, so. You can hit her for 1, though.
Yeah.
We're getting shot up.
Yeehaw!
It's going to be the absolute zero show if he survives. Which he actually, yeah. We want Ra to die so that absolute zero deals himself less damage.
Increased damage dealt by villain targets by 1.
Alright. Absolute zero at 1 hit point, everyone else knocked out. The game is still winnable.
Alright, so let's see. Do I have stuff to play? And yeah, I feel like probably just healing is the right choice here.
Did she play another clue?
She did.
I would play Focus Temperatures, but
So play that now?
I mean, you could do what you want, but that's what I would do.
Well, as I believe we learned last week, when John is helping strategize, that's usually the right choice.
And I think we have to destroy that ongoing card, or it's going to be really bad. Now here on your turn, you have to be careful.
Yes. I could heal myself with Horfire.
Can you kill Matthew Hayes on your turn? Because he will kill you. Cyrus Hayes will hurt you, but Matthew, well, 3 versus 4, I don't know if it matters, but there might not be a way out of this, actually.
Yeah.
I guess we could have had you play Cold Snap instead, but it's too late now. I don't think it would have super mattered. Like with Horfire, you could hit yourself for 3 cold. And then do...
Like, I could just use everything from Horfire to heal. Will that get me through? Or is it just holding off the inevitable?
Well, you take 7 damage from the environment itself.
So if I deal myself, so
and
it'll
then
be
2
3.
from her, so you need 9 hit points to live. You're not going to get that. You have to stop them from killing you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, if you can hit Cyrus Hayes, I don't know if you'll... Yeah, I don't know if it's possible, though. You heal yourself for 1, then hit Cyrus Hayes for the other 1. And then heal yourself. You have a chance of surviving, because you'll have enough hit points to survive both Matthew Hayes and Misinformation. As long as she doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And the environment doesn't do anything. Oh good, you're dead.
Oh, I can be isolated. So that my in-cap friends can't help me, even if I could survive, which I can't.
Yeah, the explosives wagon made it so that you lose because of
Yeah.
+1.
But at least we get to hear the awesome misinformation music,
That's right.
which is
New and
one
improved.
of my kids' favorite pieces of music from the game. They particularly like when she goes, "Hmm."
Well, and that was added recently too.
Yeah. Like when the first time they heard the cat at this and in the second part was when they got really excited. They're like, "Wow!" My daughter was like, "Is that a cat?" It was good stuff. All right, so there it is, folks. Advanced misinformation, difficult as always, even with only 3 heroes.
Yeah, the advanced is pretty rough on the flip side.
Yeah.
You don't get that like
Yeah,
burn
getting through
down
that
very
damage
quickly
reduction, unless you have like someone who deals irreducible damage or
or GI bunker.
yeah, exactly. GI Bunker who can make everything irreducible, or someone who just does massive damage all the time. You know, like I could see a Chrono Ranger scenario with a lot of bounties out and some boosts that could really wreak havoc on her. But yeah, just she's tough. She's meant to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is. All right, so that's it. 2 games tonight. As you can see in the chat there, probably if you're watching, $1.107 million and $654. They're still trending up. It's pretty amazing to think about. From humble beginnings, they've now raised over $1.1 million on Kickstarter. Pretty cool. So thanks again for joining us here on Sentinels Live on Tuesday nights. This is Jeremy coming at you from Cleveland, and John coming at you from where again, John?
Marseille, France.
Marseille, France. What is the rest of your trip? So you're in Marseille, and then where?
Then we're heading to Italy. We're going to be in Napoli or Naples for a while, and then to Edinburgh. We actually booked our place in Edinburgh the other day. So
Awesome.
in Scotland, and then we'll be carrying on around the UK and back to Europe and so on. So I'll definitely be looking out to play Sentinels, especially with some of the people in the UK. I know there's a good group of fans there. So
Right on. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on Sentinels Live. We will see you next week, the usual time. And until then, keep saving the multiverse.
have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.